So they asked, the chat GPT CEO, like, what's the one thing that's going to distinguish, people that's going to be successful, in their industry versus someone who's not going to be successful. And, chat GPT CEO, I forgot his name, you know what I'm saying? But he goes, it's delusion, it's absolute delusion that you're gonna make it happen, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, cutting every other possibility, you know what I'm saying? And the bigger, this vision is, the bigger, the impact it's gonna have, you know what I'm saying? So look, when I pull up and say Browns brand is gonna, be a global brand, and I'm not joking about it, you know what I'm saying, because I think it comes back to what value I could provide, but also my time out there. You could be a musician, you could make whatever you do in your craft, canvas painting, dancers, you probably do ballroom dance, or trying to get into Olympics, whatever you're trying to do, so it's they asked GPT CEO, what's the one thing that makes people successful? Delusion, to really shape the scope of the life, your life, you know what I'm saying? I mean, these people that understand something, and I've watched a Steve Jobs video where he talks about this. I mean, look around you, like all these lights and phones and whatever out there, right, was built up by someone who's not smarter than you, know what I'm saying? They just went up and there and done it, you know what I'm saying? And I think intelligence or intellectual capacity is not important to be a successful entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? You got entrepreneurs out there who can't, like, they're stupid as fuck, you know what I'm saying? But they are wealthy, you know what I'm saying? It's not about having intelligence, it's not about having massive intellectual capacity. It's about entrepreneur is someone who just tries and tries until they get their own find their own calling, you know what I'm saying? Look, I might not be a great person to run a restaurant, you know what I'm saying, but I might be a great person to run a tech company because I might be educated in it, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to allow my travel culture is I'm trying to bring in the environment of my brand, my trauma culture, right? Anyone out there who's watching, regardless of genders, religion, race, you know what I'm saying, is to bring in a culture of what if, you know what I'm saying? Is to bring in the culture of what if things can go how you want it to go. What if you took that risk? What if, you know what I'm saying? Because the worst thing in life is regret and resentment, but the worst thing in life, I would say, I don't mind admitting my failures because I think it's a learning curve. You live and learn, you know what I'm saying? But for me, I think it's for a lot of people. When I speak to, I was speaking to an old Englishman, like this was in like central London. He was like in his, I think he was like in his 50s or like late 50s, and I asked him, like, he's a successful real estate person, and I'm sitting in a cafe and just bumped into him. He's outside, on the tables, and I'm having a cigarette. Like this was a couple of years ago, and he's there, and I asked him, like, what's the one thing we could tell about life? And he goes, how old? I was like, I was in my in my mid-20s, and he goes, there's resentment and regrets, and also what if? And then I was like, can you elaborate? And he goes, look, people that don't do shit with their life, they get to the latter stage of their life and they have regrets, you know what I'm saying? And also people that who have regrets then have resentment, you know what I'm saying? And then he tells me something. He goes, you don't want to be in a position where you're getting to a latter part of your life and you see people thriving and progressing. I get a lot of hate from people, but then again, it's part of the game, you know what I'm saying? But then he tells me, like, look, listen, you gotta understand, those people that's hating on you are people just going, what if I've done something, you know what I'm saying? What if, like, I've, took that risk, you know what I'm saying? So he goes, it's regrets, resentment, you don't want to live there, and also you don't want to live at the place of what if. You might as well take a risk and, it don't go how you want it to go, but you learn something and you build something much greater, you know what I'm saying? It's all a learning lesson, but at the same time, you don't want to be at that place of what if when you're in your 60s, and that's what he told me. He goes, go take a risk. Go take a risk, risk it like a biscuit, you know what I'm saying? That's what